This USFL Picks Week 10 edition of the Sports Gambling Podcast is presented by WynnBet. Bet $50 at WynnBet and get $200 in free bets. Bet big, win bigger with WynnBet. Download the WynnBet app now or visit wynnbet.com and start winning today. We're also brought to you by Sleeper. You already play fantasy on Sleeper, but now you can win cold hard cash with their over/under game. Just head to sleeper.com/SGP on your phone to join the SGPN group, and Sleeper will automatically match your first deposit up to $100. That's sleeper.com/SGP, and make sure to download the SGPN app. Your home for all of our free picks and podcasts.
Hey, it's Scooby right here, aka Shark Dog, listening to SGP and let it ride.
Cox.
He's one of those guys who will get penetration.
Welcome everyone to the Sports Gambling Podcast. I'm Sean, stacking the money green with my partner in picks, Ryan. Real money Kramer. What's happening, Kramer?
Dog. It's too early to go close up. It's way too early to go close up.
We almost canceled the USFL podcast this week. Colby said it's not worth doing, and I said the fans want USFL. There was someone in the chat during yesterday's episode, Bestfall, when I was relaying Colby wanting to cancel the USFL show for today, and he said, "No, don't do it. Don't. I got to hear the USFL show." And I go, "Oh, this guy must be a bot." And then he goes, "No, I swear I'm not a bot." It was pretty great. It almost reminded me of what that Google chat bot was saying.
Would say.
Yeah, when that Google bot got sentient, he was also asking for more USFL. So I don't know if I could trust it. Week 10 of the USFL Picks Podcast. And of course, you're getting all your action over at wynnbet.com. Download that win betting app. You're looking at a man who just dominated on the WynnBet app in Michigan, the WynnBet Casino. I got my 100% deposit bonus. I nailed that rollover. Very easy to hit that rollover. 100% deposit bonus up to $1,000. Then I used that for a sweet WNBA parlay. Cashed out big. Got the money the same day, hours later. Oh, what a great experience. Highly recommend WynnBet. And get down now because between now and the end of July, every $500 you bet, you can win the ultimate fantasy football experience at the Encore Beach Club. 2-night stay at the Wynn Resorts for you and your entire league. That is pretty sweet. Get the whole league going. Get everyone betting on over at WynnBet. Every $500 you bet gets you an entry. So much over at Wynn. Offer subject to change. Terms and conditions at wynnbet.com. Must be 21 or older and present in the state. Or play through WynnBet is available. If you're someone you know has a gambling problem, call 1-800-522-4700.
What is going on in that? Well, we should bring our guest on. It sounded like an airplane.
There was some audio issues there at the end. Joining us here remotely to talk USFL picks, he is Colby, the Dant database. What's up, Colby?
Come on, man. You know it's not going to be. The listeners know. You can try to spread propaganda all you want about me wanting to cancel the USFL Week 10 preview and picture. That's not true. That is not true. I'm ready to do an ELF podcast, folks. There's a European Football League going on.
Whoa, what? European football?
Yeah, buddy. We watched week 1 and week 2. The past 2 weeks, you guys were in Michigan. The studio was rocking with European League football.
I mean, I don't even know what to say right now.
Did you say Colby? Did you say the listeners or the lispners? Because
just sipping that beautiful whiskey you guys gave me for Christmas.
It's not there in full bore. But anytime Colby's remotely, I can't help but hearing lisp Colby go. It's pretty awesome.
Colby doesn't like. I'm just waiting. Colby's wearing his glasses today. Shout out to YouTube if you're not watching. But I'm just waiting to see that like ring light reflection that you see in people when they're doing the interview and all, like they're just stare, or like the hot shit. You know, let's say you're watching some nefarious stuff, you might see the ring light reflection. Maybe that's just me. But I did see the European Football League. in our feed. So I assume it was Colby that was clicking on some stuff, getting some penetration.
He's a guy that will get penetration. All right, so we're wrapping up final week of USFL. We're not going to do DFS because it's just it's hard enough to handicap these games. Last week we didn't think a lot of the guys were going to rest their starters, but it seemed, Colby, that
tier 3 football. You don't need to rest.
Kukas, correct me if I'm wrong, but did Kukas play at all, or because I tuned in the third quarter?
Yeah, he threw a couple passes, but yeah, you're right. The whole league kind of benched their starters. You saw it. Darius Victor only played, I think, 5 or 6 snaps. DeAndre Johnson got the start, trying to get him ready in case they got to go with him. Perez still came in and threw the ball, but yeah, Case Kukas for the Philadelphia Stars. He got a little bit of burn, but KJ Costello was the main guy under center, and that kind of was the case all weekend. So. Hey, these games matter. All right, they're valuing the playoff.
I can't believe that they're sitting guys. If I'm Case Kukas, I'm going. Listen, coach, this may be the last time I get to play professional football. Let me in the goddamn game. Like Kukas was a backup to Brian Scott. It's insane that they're sitting down because you only have so many games to get some film on.
It's pure insanity. These guys. Imagine coming to a dude who's starting in the spring football league, the USFL, and saying, "Hey, dude, the playoffs don't start for 2 weeks, and I know you're really trying to not stay in the USFL forever, but we're going to sit you down this week."
Yeah, I would just tell him
go fuck yourself.
Get bent, as they used to say back in the day. That being said, I am still on a 9-3 heater ATS.
No, we're throwing out last week, right?
We should. I went 2-2. Colby went 2-2, and Ryan had the nice guy award at 1-3. Ryan and Colby 18-18 against the spread. I've managed to get up to 20-16, aka professional USFL tout, 56%. And hey, if you do want DFS, Colby, you are still doing DFS this week, right? Because I
think there's some great opportunity because with all these, I think my current DFS roster subscribe to the USFL Gambling Podcast. Me and
good tease.
But I mean, I think I left like 30 grand on the table.
That is true. Like you're playing dudes rock bottom basement price.
And the DraftKings doesn't bother adjusting the price at all when it comes to their DFS. So yeah, it is
asleep at the wheel. Those guys,
very much so.
Is there anything to play for this week?
Pride and against the spread bets. I do think there
literally nothing to play for.
No, the playoffs are locked up.
Seeds are set. Everything's set. Maybe draft order. Are we playing for draft picks? Panthers, Maulers, and Gamblers going for the #1 pick.
Is there like an Andrew Luck type guy who's currently working at a Trader Joe's that they're going to be throwing this game for? Have a chance to draft?
I'm sure there is after seeing Bo Scarborough just picked up or Eric Barriere with the Panthers. But guys, did you guys catch the Pittsburgh Maulers? So they start Roland Rivers, right? And he has a moment where he cannot hear the headset. He's going like this. He can't hear. He's going like this.
Too many people in the stands.
Yeah, that or shitty. So he calls the play really quick, and then he runs over to the sidelines to say his helmet doesn't work, and Kirby Wilson goes, "You're benched. This is professional football." and comes in the game, and it was just a hilarious. Mark Sanchez was on the call, and he's just like, "Wait, he just couldn't understand the call. You're gonna bench him because he didn't understand the call." Technology's not working, but it was just fascinating that guy's still a coach. But I saw reports, and I don't know that it's fully 100% yet, that every coach will be brought back for a year or two unless they go elsewhere. So that would be pretty shocking if Kirby Wilson is still the head coach of the Pittsburgh Maulers next year.
There are certain things that you can be good at as a coach, and certain things you can be bad at as a coach. He seems to just be bad at life. He seems bad at relationships. He seems bad at understanding what's important and what's not important. Like his personal prioritization framework must be all out of whack. Because again, like what was he so mad about? Like he's like the parent who gets mad at something, comes home, and then the kid's just in the way. Kick.
Well, also like he's never coached a team before.
He's coached Adrian James. He's coached Adrian Peterson. He's coached Emmitt Smith.
This is his first time as a head coach. He's 1-8 in the USFL. He's getting outsmarted by that that fox of a man, Jeff Fisher. Like, oh, what are you doing? You can't be upset when you have no results to speak on. All right, so looking ahead towards the playoffs.
Here's the question: Who did Pittsburgh beat this year? And Colby can't answer this. Sean,
I assume it's Michigan.
Houston.
Really? Wow. The Gamblers have had 2 wins. They actually look good early on in the season, Colby, right? Like I feel like early on it was like, oh, just a couple close losses, but this team might be able to figure it out. And then they had that streak where they kept winning the first halves and then falling apart. And now they've just completely fallen off the edge. Although they won last week.
The undefeated Stallions, we are not going to have a 72 Dolphin scenario.
Yes. Did the Dolphins pop some champagne? Did Mercury Morris? Wait, who? Larry Zonka? Was Larry Zonka popping champagne when the Birmingham Stallions lost that game?
I got a feeling he was.
Oh, that's great. All right. We'll talk a little playoffs. Go over our Week 10 ATS picks. Before we do that, shout out to Sleeper. Oh man, it was a fun ride playing all the sleeper over unders with the NBA player props. I mean, shout out to us, Ryan. First off, Warriors in 6 dominated. You hit your Warriors alt line.
2 alt lines in a matter of like, well, I guess 3 games, so like a week, a human week, but 3 NBA finals.
And you even tried to scare me off riding with you on the alt line. I went on a smaller alt line. I think I had a -6.5. Still got it done, winning tons of cash on the Warriors. And again, sleeper is great because maybe you don't have you're at a place where you can't parlay player props. That's where Sleeper comes in. Open up the Sleeper Fantasy app, click the over under, and just go to sleeper.com/SGP. 100% deposit match up to $100. Sleeper.com/SGP. Baseball coming soon. So again, if you just want to grind these out, 2x to 20x, it's really fun to make day baseball in general pretty exciting. Put a couple bucks in there and let it ride. Terms and conditions apply. See Sleeper's terms of use for details.
My real quick on Sleeper. Had I just kept it 3, I was a winner, but I had to throw in Draymond's points.
Oh my God. Again, he just went, well, this time he actually went over by 12.
And shout out to Scott. Jason Tatum gets a block. Fucking motherfucker. So yeah, I mean, look, the finals though, Sean, and the one last thing I'll throw at we talked about the 5. I threw out a 5-1 as well. Alt line. Yes. That was 10.5. So
the clip is coming, but I threw out a 12-1 after the first 2 games where I said Celtics would win game 3, Warriors would win game 4, 5, and 6, 12-1, gave it out. You're welcome, America.
I was so smart, Sean.
I was pointing to Colby because I was giving out free money and also free grooming tips. Colby, before the show, Colby said he couldn't come into the studio today. He said he had to go to his waxing to get his below the belt grooming taken care of. And I told him, Colby, no, you don't have to do that. You can do your grooming at home with Manscaped and the Lawnmower 4.0. There we go. There's the Lawnmower.
X-Files music. Is something missing, Sean?
Yes. The Lawnmower 4.0. Again, Father's Day just around the corner. I was just talking to Ryan's daughters about. They asked me what to get Ryan, and I said, "Get him the 4.0 waterproof 400K LED spotlight." In case you need a spotlight down there, and you do, you want to avoid, running over something with your lawnmower there. 20% off and free shipping. Manscaped.com, promo code SGP. Dads, buy this for your sons. Or no, sorry. Let me nail this line. Dads, buy this for yourself. Sons, buy this for you and your dad. Ladies, buy this for your man. And dog daddies, you deserve this treat too. You know, a lot of guys like to go fishing on Father's Day, but me and my old man just gonna break open the tackle box, grab the Lawnmower 4.0, and just have a truly bonding moment.
I'm stoked about the spotlight or the headlight, whatever you called it. I won't need to come into the studio anymore. With the
studio lights really help. Really give it that shine. All right, let's get to the picks. Philadelphia Stars catching 2.5 against the New Jersey Generals. A preview to the first ever, in the new USFL, the Northern playoff game. So Stars Generals will be matched up in the Northern Division. I, of course, am sitting on a Stars 18-1 ticket that I desperately want to hit. I don't know what I want here. I don't know. This is very interesting. Again, who knows to what degree they're going to be playing their starters? Who knows what the Blob is going to be up to? The Stars didn't look great with their backups in. Didn't cover the 8.5 last week against the Maulers. Did get the win 17-16.
Unlike those losers in Birmingham.
Ryan, is this going to be like when the Giants play the New England Patriots at the end of the regular season, where the Stars give them a hell of a game, and then when they meet in the playoffs,
best you had? That's the best in the league. We got that.
When they meet in the playoffs, then they eventually get the W. Colby, I'll let you start with the handicap here. I think I'm gonna. In games like this, I'm probably just going to take the dog, because why not take a couple free points? But what's your handicap on this game? Total sitting at 41. Stars are a +125 dog.
Well, I mean, my handicap is they haven't lost since you and Blob were in Mexico partying. I mean, they're going to start KJ Costello, and I think New Jersey is going to go with DeAndre Johnson. They're going to try to get him more reps, get ready for playoff ball in case something happens. And the Stars' run defense has been the weakness all year, but I do feel like it's gotten better as the season is prolonged. But I'm going to go Generals just because I think going from Perez to DeAndre Johnson is not that much of a drop off. So give me the Generals minus the 2.5. Blob gets a loss heading into the postseason.
Could be a wake up game for the Stars.
Drop off. It could be an upgrade. This is the problem with the Generals, is they're too good. And real quick, you really brushed over this, Sean. The Northern. This is actually being called the Ulysses S. Grant Northern Cup in the USFL here, after the great general from the Civil War. No, I'm completely making that up.
Oh,
but
wow, I totally fell for that.
What a great general to be named after. And how are the Generals going to lose that game? Here's my concern: they play 2 weeks in a row. So what's the point?
Yeah, no.
But to Colby's point, the backups on the Generals might be better than the starters on the Stars, and the Stars are playing their backups too. So backups greater than backups. Give me the Generals.
Yeah, this is just Blob and me. We came to an agreement down in Mexico. We patched things up, and you can't give me and the Blob in the city of Philadelphia 2.5 points. Hungry dogs run faster, Ryan.
That's smart of you to take the 2.5, not lay the 2.5. I'll point this out: Stars still possess the worst defense in the league,
and yet they're
5 points.
Yet they just keep winning games, Ryan.
Did Sean say you can't have Blob and Sean stacking the money green in Philadelphia at the same time?
I think the Blob and Sean Green have been in more places than we would care to admit at the same time. So.
Birmingham Stallions coming off their first ever loss against the Houston Gamblers. They're laying 3.5 against the Tampa Bay Bandits, who have been eliminated from playoff contention. So now Stallions will play the Breakers to decide the winner of the South next week in the playoffs. However, they still have one more game to play against this Bandits team, who
Overrated.
The Stallions. See, Ryan's already looking ahead to the Stallions as a Generals fan. You got to get past the Stars first, right?
No, I'm saying the Bandits were overrated all season.
Bandits
long.
came in super overrated. Tamu was, people are like, the league's not going to be fair. I'm like, what's going on? I think actually though, I may go Tampa Bay here, catching 3.5 and +140. Just the idea of Tampa Bay. They could end their season on a high note here, getting a win, getting a 5-5. The Stallions, again, they just lost to the Gamblers, putting out like a bunch of backups. They don't really seem to care if they win or lose at this point. Tough for me to make a case to lay 3.5 with the Stallions backups, the same team that just lost to the Houston Gamblers. Now you could say, maybe they read their press clippings. Maybe they saw the heat they took on social media. They got really embarrassed. They're walking around Birmingham. They can't even put their head up because they lost to the Gamblers. So maybe this is a get up game for the Stallions, but I still think they're holding it off for the playoffs. Colby, what's your take on Stallions Bandits?
Yeah, I mean, I'm with you, man. I think even though this Tampa Bay team is trash and they haven't beaten anybody good all year, I think they're going to play their starters. So Jordan Teamu, Juwan Washington, those guys will be playing. And I think it's going to be Birmingham's backup. So give me the 3.5. Might as well touch that 140 as well, plus 140 on the money line, because Tampa Bay should have the better team on the field as far as I mean, we'll see. I know their offensive line has been terrible all year, so maybe Birmingham's backups can still have success against that. But I'm going to take Tampa Bay, and I'm going to also take it on the money line.
You know, it's interesting too. Like the Stallions, it wasn't just last week. Even the week before, they've kind of shut it down on offense. I don't know if they can necessarily flip the switch. I mean, I think it's kind of crazy that these teams are resting some of these guys. Stallions had a really good offense at some point. They entering week 10 now, the 3rd ranked offense, but the past couple of weeks they've scored 10 and 15 points. The Bandits defense isn't horrible.
Yeah, I was just gonna real quick add. I think Colby's handicap is spot on, but also let's dive into the Stallions team. Is it possible the coaching staff is just giving them a couple weeks to prepare for the road trip? Maybe they're not used to packing their bags, so they just want to make sure the starters.
The playoffs are taking place in Canton, Ohio, and last time these teams played, Birmingham, they only beat Tampa Bay 16-10. Again, I think we haven't been messing around with the totals because some of these teams figured out how to score, but this week in particular, I think this week is an auto under on all these games, but in particular Stallions Bandits total sitting at 40.5. I think this is gonna just be a very ugly game because the Bandits defense isn't horrible as well. Like they're only averaging 18 points per game, and Tampa Bay, their offense has struggled. They're only converting 34.1% of their third downs. Kramer, it sounds like you're co-signing Bandits plus 3.5.
Just a couple other nuggets for you out there for you Stallions fans, or maybe you're an ECU fan like Colby. The Stallions have lost to the Gambler. So let's throw out the Breakers win because we all agree that was a tight game against a good team. They lost to the Gamblers. They then played Pittsburgh before that, Michigan before that, all trash teams. Philly before that with no defense. The last time they played Tampa, they only scored 16 points. It was 16-10. I wonder if we're overrating this Birmingham team a little bit. I know I'm a Jersey guy, a Generals guy over here, but
I love the fact that the Breakers will be playing them in the playoffs, and it's hard to beat a team 3 times in general, no matter what form of football. But the Breakers really should have beat them the last time they played. They just missed like 5 field goals. So some of that breaker action to represent the Freedom Cup.
The kicking has still been the craziest thing with this league. We've had guys hitting 63 yarders and then missing like multiple 35 yarders. I just cannot wrap my head around how you can be so good hitting like a 63 yarder like Len Dawson and then just completely fall apart when you 35 yarder. It's been a wild journey. I feel like
was the Jeff Fisher 7 of the whole season was really
oh my god, that was an all-time coaching disaster where they should have beat the Stars. I mean, again, if they don't beat the Stars probably, well, no, the rest of the North fell apart. It wouldn't have mattered. But yeah, speaking of, well, we'll get to Panthers Maulers in a minute here. I know
the headliner.
That is
best game of the week to watch.
In some ways, it certainly is. I want to shout out Athletic Greens. We're doing this podcast early. You hear my energy. You hear my focus. You can just hear it in my voice that I'm a guy who has 75 high quality vitamins, minerals, whole food source, superfoods, probiotics, and adaptogens coursing through my veins as we speak. Again, it gets me up in the morning. I have it right before my coffee. I haven't felt better than when I started taking AG1 from Athletic Greens. So it makes sense why they have 7,000 5-star reviews. Are you kidding me? Again, give it a shot. I think you're going to like it. I think you're going to like just waking up, getting something healthy in your body right away. Make it easy. Athletic Greens is going to give you a free 1-year supply of immune supporting vitamin D and 5 free travel packs with your first purchase. All you got to do is go to athleticgreens.com/SGP, athleticgreens.com/SGP to take ownership over your health and pick up the ultimate daily nutritional insurance. Also brought to you by IP Vanish. Lock up. your internet security, your browsing history, your passwords, all that stuff. You want it encrypted. You want it safe. You want it secure. IPVanish makes it happen. IPVanish is the official VPN of God's Eye here in the SGPN studio. Just head to IPVanish.com/SGP. Get 70% off. IPVanish.com/SGP. Panthers, Maulers. Panthers are laying 2.5 plus 145. 42 is the point total. Colby, I'm really torn here because I feel like out of principle, I can't take Jeff Fisher as a favorite, but am I really going to bet on the Maulers and Jeff, Kirby Wilson?
8-8. He's a regression to the mean guy.
Is he?
8-8.
He's gonna need to. They're gonna need to extend the season.
That's why you like him in this spot.
He's gonna need to get hot and win 7 in a row to get to 8-8, which would be a dream spot. I think at this point, total sitting at 42. Again, love the under here. The Maulers have failed to score more than 18 points in their last 4 games. Maulers ranked 7th in passing yards per game with just under 100 rushing yards per game. 7th in the league there. Panthers, they've lost 6 straight. Maulers have lost 4 straight. Michigan destroyed Pittsburgh 24-0 last time they played. I guess I'm going Michigan here. But again, I don't feel great about taking any favorites this week. I think Panthers -2.5 is the play. Colby, where are you at?
I mean, yeah, I think you have to. I mean, this first off, we should have starters going against starters here, and you have an interesting element here. Eric Barriere came in, and remember when we did the FCS spring season? This guy lit college football on fire at Eastern Washington. They picked him up. He's a mobile quarterback that could give Pittsburgh problems. They also have Josh Love, who was cut by Pittsburgh. So maybe they start Love. I'm not sure, but Panthers looked better offensively, I feel like, last week. So I in Pittsburgh, who knows what's going on there? Kirby Wilson may bench the whole team if they show up on time. I have no idea. So give me the Panthers -2.5.
Wow. Colby's just out on to see Colby out on a USFL originating coach like this is really.
I want him back for the entertainment.
Yeah, and we need an auto fade. I mean, I can only spend so much time handicapping USFL. This is great though. NBA Finals ended. I can go full bore on the USFL playoffs, and I think we could get some good football in Canton these back-to-back weeks. Colby, does the USFL?
A lot of dudes turning over in their proverbial graves in Canton this weekend.
What is better, the Hall of Fame game or the USFL playoffs? I feel like the quality of football is probably neck and neck.
No.
Is there going to be? Remember that one time they canceled the Hall of Fame game because they painted it too late and the field was wet?
The Hall of Fame game would have the best players. Like would have 72 or 76 of the best players in the USFL right now.
I don't know. It'd be close.
I think that line is mighty thin, and the Freedom Cup is going to represent a great championship game. And dude, you're telling me? I mean, we've made this case all year. I am not convinced that like Cavante Turpin, Darius Victor, some of these other guys.
Victor Bolden, I think he is a shot to make it.
That line is really thin on any sport. In any sport, even if you pull up NBA, the 12th man or the 14th man compared to the guy averaging 20 points in Italy, it's a very thin line. So I think you'll see a lot of these USFL guys on NFL rosters. Probably, if I had to guess, I would say probably like 15 to 20 guys on NFL rosters.
Yeah, I would say at least a dozen, if not more. Like to your point, 15 to 20, at least make that initial 90 man before they start cutting it down. And the teams that have, I think the teams that got eliminated already, can't they sign in the NFL? What was the rule there, Colby?
Yeah. Unless they signed it, this is where it gets a little tricky. So the initial contract, I think when they got drafted, was you have a 2-year USFL contract that will basically allow them to not go to the XFL, but they can go to the NFL. Right? They can go to the NFL. There's some type of clause in there. However, I heard it was different for guys that were just picked up, like Bo Scarborough or Eric Barriere. They potentially could be free agents available, I think, for the XFL or the CFL or the ELF or whatever. So something to monitor there. But I do think like Bo Scarborough if you're an NFL franchise and you're not calling him just to get in your training camps, I'm telling you, like the guy he's better than some running backs in the NFL. I really believe that. Same with Kevontae Turpin and maybe potentially Vic Bolden and stuff.
Yeah.
Go do the deep dive on the Bo Scarborough thing. He rubs some people the wrong way. I think he's not playing in the NFL due to things not related to his size, speed, or football ability.
Who is the guy that got cut for ordering pizza? What was this?
He's from Michigan. I'm drawing. I'm drawing a blank on his name right now. He's from Michigan. He played with the Tampa Bay Vipers. Devontae Smith. There we go.
Yeah.
Devion Smith.
Yeah, Devontae Smith's on the Eagles. Kramer, what do you got?
He looks good coming out of the season. Kirby Wilson has done nothing.
He definitely he walked away the winner of that debate.
That goes on my resume if I'm him. Look, the Kirby Wilson guy. I was the first guy to realize Kirby Wilson was an asshole. I don't know what to do with that. I would say like Jeff Fisher knows how to finish a season, right? Like if we're going to pregame, it's 2.5 points. Jeff Fisher walks into this room, guys. We're not going down 1-8. We're not being the worst team in this league to that fucking asshole.
I think to Colby's point, I think this might be the most competitive game.
Give me the Maulers, give me the Panthers.
I think they get up for this. And again, they beat them 24-0 last time. I can't imagine these Maulers guys are playing for Kirby Wilson.
No,
I mean when he pulled the quarterback for the radio not working, he already lost the team. The couple guys that were still hanging around, and Jeff Fisher. I think that's part of the reason why he stayed in the league is that the players liked him and like played for him. Granted, he's not like his coaching mind probably not the strongest when it comes to the rest of the NFL talent.
But talk to Jeff Fisher's players. Most Jeff Fisher players
they all
like
have
Jeff
good
Fisher.
Stuff to say about.
They
him.
go fishing with him. They like. Yeah. With the exception of poor Nick Foles, who got cut via phone. That was tough luck.
And then ended up being a Super Bowl MVP. Again, Jeff Fisher doesn't know what he's talking about. Breakers laying 3 against the Gamblers. Breakers -3, -150. Gamblers coming back the other way, +130. Total sitting at 41. This is interesting because Breakers again are headed to the playoffs. Gamblers are not. Breakers 6-3. Gamblers 2-7, but Sloter has been banged up all season, and then there's been points where they seemingly pull him out for poor play at times. Even he's been real hot and cold.
So you're saying there's a reason he hasn't stuck with an NFL team either? You're saying NFL teams don't want their third string quarterback slinging 2 interceptions for every touchdown?
But he's thrown a decent number of touchdowns. New Orleans, they have won 3 of their last 4 to kind of get hot here towards the end. Houston though got a win against the Stallions, and I don't know who the Breakers are going to be playing because it seems like they're not 100% sold on Sloter, but he's been banged up. Colby, what do you make of the QB situation in New Orleans?
I think they're going to sit Sloter this week and then do Kyle Smith or maybe even you see Shea Patterson make his debut for the Breakers. But the Gamblers have been they're the one team, and Patty C I know always brings him up like, hey, this team's actually good. Someone just doesn't make adjustments.
Yeah.
Like they're actually a pretty good team, as you saw as they took down Birmingham last week. So I think the play for sure is to take the +130. But guys, you know what they should do? You know what the USFL is really, let me down here. And I would love to see a league where they played Mike Leach's idea. Play the worst 4 teams in a playoff too, and have money incentives for the team that finishes first, second, and wouldn't that be fantastic? Why don't they do all 8 in the playoffs? Just 2 different playoffs, a loser's bracket and a winner's bracket.
Too much football. I don't know.
Colby. The ratings machines couldn't handle the loser bracket. The numbers it would be spitting out, it would crash.
What are they playing for?
It would crash Fox Sports. Like, if they made a bracket, yeah. Or honestly, this is where, like, for these spring leagues, I think it would be great if there's some way they could partner up with the NFL and really have these guys play for jobs in the NFL. I don't know how exactly you would work it out, but like whatever team wins the USFL, what's it called? Freedom Cup.
Freedom Cup. I gave it that name.
Okay. Well, I was gonna say don't call it cup because that sounds like soccer, but I like where your head's at.
The Freedom Cup. It's the winner of the Ulysses S. Grant Northern Cup, and it takes on the winner of the General Lee Southern Cup. I think two great generals there.
Somehow they have to figure it out. Of hey, if your team wins the USFL championship, X amount of players are guaranteed roster spots. Like, let's say there's 32 guys on the team. Each NFL team has to just add them in. Have one spot, just one roster spot, just maybe one player. They arm wrestle it. I mean, there could be like a Squid Game type end to the USFL. Like whatever team wins, they pick their 2 best players.
Red light, green light.
I don't know. There's something there where if these guys actually had an NFL contract on the line, even incentivizing them more, that would be a cool touch to it.
And before you get upset, Robert E. Lee was actually very in favor of reconciling with the union and really felt that the country needed to work together as one. So the Southern Cup and the Northern Cup will come together in the Freedom Cup. I like this, calling them cups.
Yeah. And
there's nothing else to talk about. What are we still breaking this down for? Gamblers all the way.
Yes.
All right. Yeah. I'm on the Gamblers too. Money line plus 130.
Houston +3. You can't trust the Breakers, especially if they're going to be sitting guys. All right, Gamblers +3, closing it out, and USFL playoffs coming up next week, and USFL DFS. If you want to get that, check out the USFL Gambling Podcast. Colby has you covered. Kramer, let's close it out. What is your lock and your dog?
I'd so badly want to lock up the Generals just because their backups are better than the Stars backups. But I think the lock here is the Houston Gamblers. I think to your point, the coaching has gotten in the way, and I think if you're having a starters versus backups moment here, you got the disparity between the good teams and the bad teams were so stark. But the difference between the backups and the starters is going to be similar. So Gamblers +3 is the lock.
Okay. What do you got for your dog?
I'll take Tampa.
Okay.
I think Birmingham, not a great team. We could be looking at a situation where they win their first 9 games or 8 games, and then they lose 3 straight, Sean, and they're not going to be playing in the Freedom Cup.
Yeah, I like that too. My lock though, I'm gonna go Michigan Panthers. I mean, just fading Kirby Wilson has been free money. I feel like I got to keep riding that. And then I'm with you. I'll go Tampa Bay money line +140. I also do like I'll throw out a Houston Gamblers Tampa Bay Bandits money line parlay as a little bonus there. Feel free to add that to your card, Ryan, if you wish.
Too many bets.
Okay, Brian's passing. He's abstaining from gambling there.
That parlay is only a lean for me. So,
Colby, what do you?
Don keeps going first and ruining my picks, man. They did last week. The Breakers were if you listen to the USFL Gambling Podcast, I said you got to take the Breakers. Well, then Sean went first and locked up the Breakers, so I didn't want to copy him. This week, same scenario here, but this week, you know what? I need some wins to get back on the win side of things. Give me the Panthers -2.5 as the lock. They won 24-0 last time. Ride the mustache guy. Then for the dog, let's go. I mean, I was gonna do a little parlay there, but let's go. Let's go.
No parlay.
Gamblers money line, Bandits money line, and let's go chalk with the Generals -2.5. I gotta up the ante.
All right, that is a big dog. All right, make sure to check out Colby on the USFL Gambling Podcast. Toss us a nice rating review. All you got to do is hit contest in the SGPN app. Take a screenshot of you submitting an Apple Podcast review for your chance to win free gear every Monday, aka Merch Monday. And the college football experience has begun. The 131 team previews, one team preview for every college football program, alive and well over at the College Football Experience. Make sure you check that out.
Thank you for participating in the Sports Gambling Podcast.
For the Sports Gambling Podcast, I'm Sean, stacking the money green, and he is Ryan.
Colby's almost certainly going to make you a liar because I'm sure he's going to touch on the FCS.
Yeah, right. And 2.0s.
Kramer, let it ride.